Hey guys, SMG here, back with another tutorial for Age of Mythology Retold's editor. And today we're going to be covering triggers. I've already made this map, so we could jump right into making triggers. Let's get a good view of it. So the first thing I want to show you guys is a playtest without the triggers. I'll go ahead and play it now. So without triggers, our screen is going to start on the bottom of the map down here, as you can see. As well, the world is not revealed to us, which is okay. Sometimes you don't want the world revealed. Don't mind those enemies, that's for later. And let's just exit out from here. So as I pointed out earlier, our camera actually starts down here when we start the game, and I want our camera to be pointed towards the town center when we start the game. So to do that, we're going to go into triggers, triggers again. Then we're going to hit new trigger, and then just go ahead and, oops, I'm in the wrong section. Go to triggers right here, and then go ahead and name it whatever you want to. I'm going to name it camera cut. And then we have three options down here. Active. This will set your trigger to active. You basically always want this on. We have loop. And what this will do is after the trigger initially activates, it'll repeat it over and over and over again. And we have run immediately. And what a run immediately does is as soon as you start the scenario up, it will run the trigger immediately. And for the most part, we always want active and run immediately on. I can't really think of any instances that you don't want run immediately on. Okay. And next, we're going to go under conditions. And for now, we're going to keep it under always. We'll go over conditions in more detail later. But basically, conditions are the conditions that need to be met to enable this trigger. So I could set a timer if I wanted to. I could also do it on a certain unit's death. But again, we'll go over that in more detail later, as we just want it set to always for now. Alright, so the first trigger we're going to want is camera cut to view. Actually, excuse me. Camera cut to view for player. And this is going to be for player 1, since that's the point of view of us. You can also change it to any other player you want. Alright, to set where you want your camera to be at the beginning of the game, just going to go ahead and set cut. I'm going to make it on the center of the town center here by left clicking. And then you can always check by scrolling away. And then you hit show. And it'll show you exactly where that cut is at. Alright, let's go ahead and test this trigger out. Make sure it's working. So as you can see, every time we're going to start the game now, we're going to start looking at our town center, or our beautiful village here. So next thing we want to do is we want to reveal the map for player 1. So we're going to want to go to triggers, triggers again, hit new trigger. I'm just going to name it reveal. Oh, wrong category again. Let's go back to triggers. Reveal. We're going to want to hit active. It's already on active. Run immediately. And for conditions, we want this always. Go ahead to effects. And I believe it's under map. Yes, map reveal, great. And then we're going to want to set an area. I'm going to set the area to the town center. With this, we're able to just reveal a specific area we wanted to, or you could set it to an absurdly high number just to reveal the whole map. I'm going to go 999. All right. Let's go ahead and see what that looks like. All right, as you can see here, we can see the whole map now, and this is always going to be active until we have another trigger that either tells us to shut off or we put a timer on it of some sorts. So let's say we still wanted the fog of war on, but we wanted the map to be revealed as well. So all we would do is go back to our reveal trigger, go to effects, and then we check black map only on. I'll go ahead and show you guys what that's going to look like. So as you can see, the map is still revealed, but we have the fog of war effect. Any second now, these automatons will be coming out of the fog of war to come and attack us. Yep, there they are. Okay, so the next thing we're going to work with is the condition timer. I want to make it so we get a set amount of resources every 10 seconds or so. So to do that, I'm going to go to triggers. I'm going to add a new trigger. I'm going to name this one resources per second, or RES PER second. Then I'm going to hit run immediately. And for this one, I'm going to hit loop because we're going to be working with the timer this time. Under conditions, I'm going to open up this bar right here. I'm going to press T to get to timer. We want timer in seconds. So let's have this timer go off every 10 seconds. All right, so next we're going to go to effects. And then it should be under grant. Let me check my notes really quick. It's under player grant resources. They changed that since the last game. My bad. Player grant resources right there. So we want player 1. And let's just go with the amount they give us, 100 food to start off with. And then I'll duplicate that. And what that's going to do is just going to duplicate this this effect I have here. I'm going to change it to wood. Duplicate it, change that to gold, duplicate it, and we'll get favor as well. Although for favor, 100 is kind of a lot, so let's set that to 5. And make sure everything's set up properly. Okay, let's go ahead and play test that to make sure it's working. Alright, now we just wait 10 seconds to see if we get more resources. There it is. Alright, so every 10 seconds, because we put it on loop, it will be giving us a set amount of resources. That is 100 wood, 100 food, 100 wood, 100 gold, and 5 favor. Alright, this time we're going to use the effect of Grant God Power, and we're going to use this effect under the conditions of units in area. So to do this, we're going to go to triggers, new trigger. I'm going to name it Grant God Power. Let's do the effect first. Let's find Grant God Power. God Power. Grant to player. We're going to want that God Power to be Dwarven Gold Mine. Dwarven Mine, rather. And it doesn't matter for the God Power. You choose anyone you want. We'll make the uses 3. These two options at the bottom, basically what they mean is, from my testing, you either have to have them both on or both off. They don't work with one on or one off for some reason. This will make it so every time you're done or you depleted the 3 uses that you got, it'll start costing favor instead of it being free. Or if you have them both set to off, instead, once you deplete your uses, you will not get any more of the Dwarven Gold Mine. So let's set the condition. We want this condition to be unit type and area. And again, it doesn't have to be this. It could be any condition you want, but I figure I'd go over this condition while we're here. Player 1, unit type. You could choose a different unit if you want, or you could just go with any unit like I have here. Radius, we'll keep that at 10. And as well as the operator. So this is going to be less than less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, greater than. And this symbol basically means if the count is different than what I have it set to. So let's say if I have it set to 5, if it's any number besides 5, it'll grant it to you. So let's make it greater than or equal to, and we'll set the count as 5. So we have to have 5 units around this object. So let's go ahead and place the object for it. We'll go to embellishments, and then we'll make it the statue of Major God. If I can find it. There it is. And we'll just put it right here. We'll go back into the triggers, the conditions. We'll center the unit. I'm going to double check to make sure I have everything set right. Oh, forgot to run immediately. That's okay, we fixed it. Everything seems to be according to plan. Go ahead and hit the play button. Alright, now that we're back, all we should have to do to activate this is move 5 units close to the statue of the Major God. Let's see if we can get some dwarven gold mines here. See, 4 units, and here comes the 5th. There we are. As you can see, I got 3 of them. I have no more uses now. One more thing when it comes to the grant God power effect. Let's go back into it. Let's go to the effects. So you see here it says cooldowns. You're actually able to change the cooldowns of the God power. So let's say I cast the God power and then I have to wait set amount of seconds. So let's make it 5 to be able to use that God power again. Basically just giving it a bit of a nerf. And let's go ahead and activate use costs and repeatable at end, just so you guys can see what that looks like. Let's go ahead and give it another playtest. Alright, again, I'm going to move my units down here. Alright, now as you can see, I have my units down here. And I'm going to cast all 3 of my Dwarven Gold Mines. Now it has a 5-second cooldown. There we are. And as you can see now it costs 60 favor, just like it would in a real game. You can't afford it. That's okay. So let's say I want a message to appear when I am granted the Goldmine God Power. All I would do is go back to Grant God Power, and I'd want to insert a new one. This one is going to be called Display Message Box. So let's hit D. See if I can find it. There it is, Display Message Box. And let's call this "You now have 3 gold mines." Perfect. There is another thing we could do as well. Let's hit insert a new one, and this one is going to give us a chat log. Basically, it's gonna make the enemy chat to us. This one is going to be called Chat Send Chat. That is not what I wanted. Let's type in C. Chat Send Chat. Alright, you get to choose the player you want it from. In this case, let's do player 2. And this will basically just be your normal in-game message. So like if a player messages you. But what I like to do is that, if you guys didn't know, I believe it's like numbers 1 through 30 or 40 maybe. And it will make a character from the campaign talk to you, or one of their pre-recorded messages. So let's go with, I can't remember them off the top of my head, but let's just go with 21. I think 21 was a pretty funny one. Let's go ahead and test that out. Now we're going to be able to get the God Power, and it's going to have a message pop up for us. 2 messages. I'm scouting. That's a pretty good one. This message, as well as the player message on the left. When you have an enemy team, by default, if you have them set to computer, they will come in and attack you. So to disable that, what we're going to want to do is go to triggers, new trigger, run immediately. I'm going to call this one disable. And we're going to look for the AI disable. And essentially what that's going to do is just going to make it so the enemy AI no longer works for just team 2, which is the only other team. Alright, I'm just going to show you what that looks like real quick. So let's switch to team 2 so we can easily get a viewpoint of the AI. Alright, so these automaton are no longer automatically going up and attacking us due to the computer AI. Alright, next thing I want to do is I want to make an army and have it head straight towards our town center without the use of a computer. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to add another unit in first, and it's going to be a Cyclops. Not a Colossus, Cyclops. There it is. Alright, and then we're going to highlight the units that we want to make an army with. Then go to Army Editor, create army. Next step is to go back into triggers, new trigger. Let's name this one attack. Run immediately. Let's set the condition as a timer. Seconds. We'll make it 10 seconds. Alright, next is going to be army move to point. So let's find army move to point. Right here, army move to point. Let's select our army, the only one we made. Let's go ahead and set an area we want them to move to. I want them to move directly to the town center. Let's go ahead and put it right there. We want attack move on, so they'll be attacking the walls on the way or whatever else gets in their way. And let's go ahead and test that out to make sure it works. Double check the settings real quick. Alright. Gotta wait 10 seconds. Alright, as you see, they're moving on their own without my input. Let's see what they decide to do. It looks like they're taking the long way around, which is fine. They found the palace. Come on, get him, palace. Cyclops gonna yeet that man. Gonna attack everything on the way. Alright, I think we got the point now. Basically gonna destroy everything on the way before getting there. So I want them to take a more straightforward approach. So I'm gonna go ahead and change that trigger up a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and set the area to right here. So next thing I want to do is I want to buff our Cyclops buddy here. I also want to make him a little bit bigger to show that he is a little bit buffed up. So we go to Advanced Transformation Tool for that. Enable Gizmo. Scale. We're going to drag this center dot here. Yeah, that's about good right there. I like that. And then now for the buffs, let's go to triggers. Let's add a new trigger. Let's just call it player to buff. run immediately. Conditions, always, as we want at the start of the match. Let's, gonna be pro unit, modified data. Had to look at my notes there for a second. Pro unit, modified data right there. Change it to team 2. Unit type, we're using Cyclops. Scrolling down until I find Cyclops. Right there, Cyclops. And let's give them 1,000 more hit points. Now, for relativity, absolute is going to be addition. Assign is going to change his base stat. So whatever you set it at, let's say I set it at 1,000, his health will be 1,000. Percent will be multiplication, and base percent is multiplication again. I'm not really sure what the difference between these two are. I've had the same outcome from both of them. So let's stick with absolute, which is addition. And then we're going to go ahead and insert a new one. We want to give his attack more damage, his crush attack to be exact. So we're going to go to pro unit, modify action. Right here. Let's choose Cyclops again. Player 2. We choose an action. We want it hand attack. We could also make his ability throw stronger, but I'm just going to do hand attack for now. And then the field, we're going to want damage crush. And again, addition, changing it completely to whatever you set here. Percent is multiplication, base percent, multiplication again. So we're just going to give them 100 more crush damage. And then let's go play test it to make sure that works. Make sure everything's in proper working order here. You know what? I actually want to give them a little bit more speed too. So let's go to speed. You also have all these other options available to you as well. But I'm going to go with speed. And then I'm going to add 2 more speed on top of what he already has. Just make him that much more menacing. All right, let's make sure he works. All right, loading in. He does do 100 more damage. Let's see if we can find his base speed here. Right here. Yeah, he's definitely faster. And where's his health? His health is up by 1,000. So that looks to check out for us. So earlier in the video, I actually had to redo a part and I messed up and I had to delete this Cyclops. So to add him back to the army, all I would do all I would do is go into triggers, army editor, and you see how I have this army selected. So we're just going to select the Cyclops and then hit add to army. Now that we've given player 2 a buff, let's go ahead and give player 1 a buff as well. I'm going to make the Murmaloy free. To do that, I'm going to go to triggers. I'm going to hit new trigger. I'm going to change the name. Player 1 buffs. I'm going to hit run immediately. Conditions, always. Effects. I'm going to go to modify pro unit resource data, I believe what it's called. No, it's pro unit modify resource data. There it is. All right, so we have it set to team 1. We want the resources for the food cost to be free. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the sign. and then we're going to switch delta to 0, so he doesn't cost any food. And next we're going to go to gold after duplicating it. And oh, you know what? I forgot to set the unit. Happens sometimes, you know. So let's look for Murmaloid. There it is. And we're going to set the food to 0. Duplicate it, make it easy on ourselves. And then set the gold to 0 as well. Alright, as you can see, he only costs 2 population and 14 seconds of our time. Alright, so finally, we want to set some win conditions. To do so, we're going to go back to triggers. We're going to insert a new trigger. We're going to rename this to just win. Run immediately. We'll mess with the conditions in a second here. Alright, so the effect is called Player Allied Victory. Right here. And we're going to want to set it to 1, as it's already at. So end game, this will basically end the game for everyone if you check this to on, which is what we want to do. If you check it to off, it'll just win the game for team 1, and the rest of the players will be able to continue playing as well. So let's go to conditions. Let's go to units. We basically want to kill the Cyclops over here. Unit is dead, I believe is what we're looking for. There it is. And we're gonna click on the Cyclops, and then we're gonna click source units. And then if we want to double check, we could always hit show, and it'll bring us right back to the Cyclops. Just gonna double check to make sure that's all proper. Alright, we should be good to go. And our game at this point is basically finished. So we're going to go ahead and train some Murmillos. Put them on repeat. Get ready for this attack that's coming. As they're free to us, so no reason not to spam them, honestly. So as soon as we kill the Cyclops, the game should end. It's taking a beating. The health is ticking down though. Just a few more whacks, guys. Come on now. 80, 50, 30, 20, 16? Yeah, we did it. The last thing I wanted to talk about before I go. If you go up to triggers, you can move around the triggers that you have here. So if you hit move down, you can move them down. And move up, you move them up. Now, the order itself doesn't really matter, so whatever pleases you. Another thing you can do, you can copy global, and what this will do, if you hit new trigger, you're able to just paste globally, and you still have it in your inventory, so you can keep on pasting if you wanted to. It's useful for transferring effects from other triggers. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you found any useful information in this video, I'd appreciate the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see any more content from me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.